All right, man. So listen, context is important. And this idea came to me when I saw this video about, this dude who likes playing with action figures, and he was promoting basically be yourself. In the video was him, playing with action figures in restaurants and shopping places and a bunch of public areas and stuff like that. And just as a little side note of why that was even recommended to me was because, like I've said, Um, me, I still like action figures and stuff of that sort. Mainly because I'm an animator, and so that's what I like to do a lot of my free time. So all that to say is, context is important, okay? And that was kind of my whole thing with this dude's message on Instagram was because like, okay, I'm all for the message of like, be yourself and don't shy away from that. But what's the context behind it? Because I feel like if you don't have context you know, to when and where you do things, you just kind of come off as like a cornball and like out of touch, you know? Because it's not really denying yourself or like lying about those aspects of who you are. It's just you got to know the time and the place to have those moments. Like this dude here, like again, I like action figures. I don't got to bring them out in public spaces and be playing with them in the store and at restaurants and all that. Because to me, it's just, hey, man, it's not the time and place for that. All right. Listen, like, I'm a 25-year-old man, and it's just, in my eyes, it's not a good look for me doing that, bro. Okay. It's just not a good look. Like, I'll leave that to my space, my room, and I'll have my fun there. Okay. I don't got to bring that to the public space. Or, like, jokes, man. There can be some jokes that you have to really look at the situation you're in and decipher like, okay, is this a good place and time to tell these jokes? If you're in a deep conversation with someone, like depending on what the joke is, you should read between the lines, be like, okay, should I tell this joke now? Save it for later and all this and that. Telling jokes. Things like also just not getting off subject when you're having those deep conversations or stuff like that, like social cues, man. I mean, all this really is to say there's a time and place for everything, right? We're always told that. Now, if you want to take this to more of like a physical, I guess, kind of example, is like, how about just how you dress, right? Where you're going, you dress for the occasion, right? Like you go to school, you might dress in, something kind of like this, just a little t-shirt, throw some jeans on. You're going to a wedding, I'm not going to go dress like this at a wedding, right? I'm going to go dressing with maybe a white, nice dress shirt and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then also at the beach, well, you can be a little more revealing, wear your swim attire and all that. I mean, you can't be bringing that in the mall and all that, though, can you? Right? Because it's like, whoa, not the place for that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, there's a time and place for everything. Have context, all right? And that's my point in this video is I'm not saying don't be yourself, don't um be who you are. I'm saying have a context behind it. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you want to be, off the rails and, really don't care what nobody says, you know, you can be like the dude and play with your action figures at a Ross or a Walmart or a Chili's or whatever. You can wear your bathing suit at the mall or something, but don't be surprised if you get, mocked at, maybe get some eyes looking like, oh, what's this guy doing? Or hey, I don't know, maybe a cop's gonna, kind of have to, pull you to the side and be like, hey, girl, like, what's that? Why are you wearing this bikini in this public space where we are all dressed appropriately? This is not dress code attire for this place. You know what I'm saying, man? Context is important, man. So, again, there's nothing wrong with being yourself. Just have context for when and where you show these parts of yourself off. All right. So have context. Thank you.